please go down the stairs straight ahead and congregate outside of East Ham Library. Please do not use the lifts. Each year on 25th November, newham recognizes White Ribbon Day or International Day for the Elimination of Violence against Women. It is an opportunity to acknowledge the achievements of domestic or sexual violence victims, to empower victims and to signpost to newham support services, to encourage you between 25th of November, which is today, and 10th of December, the Human Rights Day, to make a pledge about your commitment to ending domestic and sexual violence. You can take part in 4 easy steps. If you see on your chairs, you will have this pledge placed on your seats. So, step 1, take a picture of yourself pledging. Upload the picture to your Twitter, Facebook or Instagram account. Use the hashtags 16 days and hashtag newham. Step 4, tag 3 friends and ask them to pledge too. The pledge should say, I will never commit, condone or stay silent about violence against women. I'm going to share a story with you. 4 months ago, we started a conversation cafe session at a venue in the borough. And this was aimed to engage with women over 65. It's been running for about 4.5 months, and every Friday they meet, have a coffee, talk. These are women who's done their duty to our society, brought families up, and now they've retired, so they want to meet once a week just to have a chat. So 3 months into the program, one of the ladies asked me that she wants to speak to me confidentially. So I met her. She's 72 years of age. Her husband is 82. She's been married for 52 years, but all those 52 years, she's been a victim of domestic violence. And finally, after coming to these groups, she realized it's time to speak up. And she asked me whether I could help her to move out of her home or get her husband moved out. So that's a long time that she suffered, and finally she took courage after 52 years to stand up against domestic violence, and she's been signposted to our services. It's all taken care of. So I asked her, why did she take this long to talk about it? And she said, first, it was a commitment to her children. So she wanted to give the children a secure home with a father being there. And secondly, she was first generation in newham. She didn't know where to go for help. Thirdly, she said she found faith in God, so she forgot all the abuse. But now, she's willing to move out of her home after 52 years. So my message is, it's quite hard for women because there are other pressures, especially when you have children. It's very hard to make that move. What I like to say is, if you know anybody who is a victim, please help them and guide them to our services. They're here today. If you want to talk to them, you can speak to them. And on 9th of December, we have planned, it's the Human Rights Day, United Nations Human Rights Day, and we have planned a candlelit vigil at Newham Townhall at 6 o'clock on 9th of December. This is to show solidarity with victims of violence against women across the world. Last year, there were 112 women murdered in the UK alone. I hope you will join us on that day. Now, I would like to invite Sir Robin Wells to address the audience. Thank you.
Wait till you get Stephen Tins up, I'll have to go through the I want to say thank you to Lakmini. She, as you can hear from her voice, she's not very well, but she works incredibly hard doing these sorts of things, putting on events like this and working in the conversation cafes, and I think she deserves a lot of credit for the things she does. Works tirelessly for the borough and for people in the borough. There, I told you I'd be nice about you, Lakmini, that's it. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you all ready for the day?
Yes.
Do you want the long speech or the short speech? I've heard you say long. Okay, I can get that. Okay, I'll do that. Right. Listen, I will keep it reasonably short. I am proud to support the UN campaign to end violence against women, and I want everyone to be clear that newham will not tolerate any acts of violence against its women or its girls. We will not tolerate it. We will do whatever we can. Now more than ever, it's important that communities across the world speak with one voice and make this message clear. And that's lots of parts of the world where things are even worse than here. But that doesn't excuse anything here. We have to stand up and say, we will not tolerate violence. It is wrong. It is always wrong. And take a strong stand on it. We've changed the way we deliver our services, and that's having a tangible impact. But if violence continues, and if we have to address the problem, we need to change attitudes. And yes, we've changed our services, and that's great. But in the end, what we need to do is help women to have courage to stand up and say, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to accept this sort of behaviour. We need to say to our community, all our communities, because we are a hugely mixed community in newham, we need to say, we need to support people to have the capacity to do things. And that's why in this council, we believe in the concept of resilience. And resilience is about the ability to deal with problems when they come to you. Something bad happens in life, you lose your job. Something bad happens, you break up. Something bad happens, you're subject to violence. We want people to have the capacity to deal with that and have the strength to be able to do something about it. Now, some people in the council don't agree. They don't think that what we do is right. But I believe that through the building of resilience, we can't do things for people. They have to do it themselves. So we say things like, if you get into a job, it gives you a sense of worth, a dignity, and it lets you, as a person, it helps you deal with issues. That's why we have the biggest jobs brokerage in this country. Perhaps the biggest we've ever seen in this country. We have transformed the lives of families getting people into work. And we've done work on perpetrators of violence. Because remember, it's the perpetrators that are the ones we should be looking at and understanding. And if they're working, they're less likely to commit violence. So by getting people into work, by helping them build capacity, we help people to be able to handle difficulties, and we give people that sense of themselves. We're working with children to say, you can be better than that. Our Every Child programme. Many of you will have children, yet free school meals so that we can get but also teaching them to play a musical instrument so they have a skill that they know. They can see themselves in a different way. They can see themselves as somebody that can do something. And that's about giving our children the power so that as they grow up, they won't accept the sort of behaviours that maybe some people have accepted that are a bit older than them. And we're doing lots in housing to try to make sure that housing conditions are better, because again, if you're living in a decent, warm home, then it's less likely that you'll see violence. It's less likely that people... But if you're home